What is up, guys? Frad here! Welcome back to the channel and welcome newcomers. Today we have Dragon Empire on our top 3 menu. We're going through all nations in alphabetical order as Advance of Intertwined Stars is inbound. And if you're interested in what I had to say for Brandgate or Dark States, their respective videos are up at my channel. As always, I'll include my personal release date deck list at the end of this video, so if you're curious, stick around. Today we'll go through the best support cards for 3 ride lines, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. So Eugene is up the bat first, and let me tell you, he's gonna get an amazing boost. So let's look at our first top 3 card of the day. Twin Strike of Duststorm, Orlando. Skill reads Act from Soul. If your opponent's rearguard was retired this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and call this card to Rearguard Circle. Then auto Rearguard Circle. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, cost put this unit into your soul, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5k until end of turn. So Rendor finally gets a decent pinpoint target for its riding skill. That's clean. Orlando loops himself, which is just useful, let's be honest, especially with Counterblast not being a problem in this deck. Let's already move on to our big number 2. The order card, Best Harvest. It reads as, choose one of your Vanguards and until end of turn, it gets auto Vanguard Circle. When your opponent's rearguard is retired during your main phase, you draw a card. Draw, 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 and draw. As retiring a full board is quite an easy feat for this deck in particular, it's just an incredible plus engine really. Spamming Eugene's skill leads to decking out pretty quickly, so it's pretty much considered more like a emergency mechanic to get you out of trouble, and this will still be Eugene's undeniable truth, as if you're not careful, this new order card will wreck you. But yeah, it's just an insane addition to the deck really, and draw engines are always welcome, so bring him in, bring him in. Now let's move on to Eugene's top 1 card. The Triple R Howitzer of Duststorm, Dustin. Skill reads auto when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle. If your Vanguard is Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene, cost put a card from your hand into your soul, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rearguards and retire it. Then auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks, cost Soul Blast 1 and this unit gets power plus 2k until end of that battle for each of your opponent's open Rearguard Circle.
Dustin power.
Dustin's basically free retire power, and especially if you put Orlando into Soul. Pluses you and has a beat stick capability that Eugene desperately needed. It's great! And with that, let's move on to Overlord. Dio doesn't get much specific support cards, but it does get some additional tools in the forms of generic Dragon Empire cards. None of them are game-changing, but some more options are always well appreciated. But before we get into its top 3, I would still like to mention Blaze Maiden Elba, which in the Japanese version of the game was released pretty much around the same time as this set. A couple days ago we had no idea when we would get her, but now she's been announced for February. So my projected deck list for the set has been changed a bit, but still I want us to look at her together as she's pretty decent. Also, she's pretty, right? Skill reads Act on Rearguard Circle once per turn, cost Counterblast 1 and rest 3 rearguards with Blaze Maiden in their different card names. Draw a card. Choose one of your Vanguards and until end of turn it gets continuous Vanguard Circle. All of your front row units get power plus 10k. So she has a pseudo Persona Ride skill thing-ish going on. Your plan would have been to call Elba in the back row along with Tanya that we got in the set 2 that calls a grade 0 from your drop. Triggers are grade 0s and a lot of Dragon Empire triggers are Blaze Maidens. So there you go, you have your 3 different name Blaze Maiden units, rest all 3 of them and get a Persona Ride on your front row, which in Dio is pretty good as Overlord stands. But yeah, just keep that in mind as we don't actually get her this set but in February. So let's move on to our number 3 card we're getting in this one. Steel Bullet of Duststorm, Ethan. Skill reads auto Rearguard Circle. When your Vanguard's attack hits, cost retire this unit, draw a card and countercharge 1. Ethan is basically an alternative to Overlord's Gojo as it also countercharges on Overlord's first attack. Grade aside, Ethan's main difference is that it actually draws you a card. so value-wise, it replaces itself. Also, Gojo is bound to boosting your Vanguard, so you can call Ethan in the front row, back row, whatever, and use another boosting units on hit skill like Tenchested for example, and just use Ethan whenever. But if you do place Ethan in the front row though, you gotta be careful, because as it retires, you want to attack with it first, but if you do attack with it first, you might want to make sure that your opponent has, first of all, a full front row, and second of all, doesn't have two grade 2s, as he'll just intercept with both units, and you won't have Overlords guaranteed first on hit on his first swing. So if your opponent does have a grade 3 in the front row and a grade 2 or another grade 3, just reach with Ethan into that either grade 2 or grade 3, as the other one won't be able to move and will still be a target for Overlord. And if your opponent has a full front row of grade 2s, you're probably better off keeping Ethan in the back row and just tribute it on your first Overlord skill and still get that counter charge and +1. Let's move on to our top 2 card, the Double R Drag Raider Shihab. Skill reads auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn, then continuous on rearguard circle. When you would ride from your ride deck, you may ride with put this unit into your soul instead of choose a card from your hand and discard it. Shihab is a one-of in Overlord if you want, and that's it. As Bar fetches you a grade 1 directly from your deck on your ride, so you probably want another option aside from a perfect guard, as most people don't really want to see perfect guards early on in the game and rather draw or drive check into them later on. And he makes for a good option, as he is a grade 1 and will save you a card in hand. And it just replaces the Nehalem you'll be calling out of your soul on your Overlord ride, which usually is kind of like a Soul Blast 1, as you get one card less in your soul. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting tech. And let's now have a look at Overlord's number 1 card, the other Double R Stealth Dragon Fushimachi Madoka. Skill reads continuous on rearguard and Guardian Circle. If your opponent's drop has 4 or more cards, this unit gets power plus 2k, shield plus 5k. Then, if there are 8 or more, it gets shield plus 5k, active on your opponent's turn 2. I hope. Madoka is a godsend generic Dragon Empire card for Overlord. Dio already being kind of tanky, it just adds to it. Pretty versatile, as you can also use it to rush early on, and if you do play Tri-Bashes, this can just make magic number columns. And honestly, 15k shields with additional skills, we'll take them. And now onto the MC support units for Nirvana. And yet surprisingly, despite being the protagonist's ride line, Nirvana gets the least support, in my opinion, from this set, but some of them are must-haves. Our top 3 card might not fit in that definition, but it's still a fun card, so let's look at it. The Order Prayer of Resonating Wishes. It reads, play this with cost counterblast 1, choose one of your vanguards, and until end of turn it gets auto Vanguard Circle when your rear guard is placed. If it was an Overdress, draw a card, and this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn. As I said, it's not a must-have, as not all Nirvana builds will run it, but I've seen some that really want to draw a ton of cards, and this card does so. It makes it easier to draw your pieces, to put some shield in your hand. If you feel like you got some room in your deck and want to try it out, go ahead. But if you do want to try this card out, make sure that you plan on overdressing at least 2 units during your turn, otherwise it will just be a 1-for-1 situation. Fun card aside, let's move to a more serious number 2 card. The cover guy, Verena Expecta. To overdress it, you need a unit in the overdress state. So the skill reads continuous on rearguard circle. This unit gets the original attack of all of its original dress, active on opponent's turn 2. Then auto rearguard circle when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater vanguard, if this unit is in the overdress state. Cost counterblast 1, and this unit gets power plus 15k, critical plus 1 until end of that battle. At the end of that battle, put all of this unit's original dress into the drop. Overdress state ends if there is no original dress. So Expecta competes in today's builds with our first cover boy, Valiente.
And it's a pretty good contender.
By itself, without even personal riding or even using Nirvana's skill, Expecta will hit 43k power and double critical. Your opponent better be ready, because this is gonna be devastating otherwise. And with that, let's move on to our last number 1 of the day. The double R and gorgeous looking Blaze Maiden Jimena. Skill reads auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, cost counterblast 1. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with the Overdress ability from among them, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Jimena is Nirvana's MVP this set and is an easy 4-off. I mean, you have so many cards you can hit with her. And I mean, she helps you dig for the 2 best cards of your deck, being Arcs and She basically thins out your deck for a very useful card. She's incredible. And a quick tip for those that ran only 1 copy of Verena in your deck, you might want to add at least 1 or 2 just in case that Verena's the only card you hit with her when playing for her counterblast, as you won't waste that +1. Even if you prefer Valiente over Expecta, Jimena is mandatory as she stabilizes our deck. Well, that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe. As I mentioned earlier, my personal release date deck lists are coming up, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.